Okay, we're good to go.
Thank you, Bill. Okay, so this is the September meeting for Police and Public Safety. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Chief or Deputy Chief, someone's going to take attendance. We can get that off the screen, correct?
Yes, I'll take the roll call.
Thank you.
Chief McPartland? Oh, I'm sorry, Councilman McPartland?
Here.
Supervisor Syed?
I'm here.
Deputy Chief Stevens?
Yep, I'm here.
Deputy Supervisor Faminsky? Deputy Supervisor Faminsky? Town Clerk Martinelli?
I'm here.
Town Attorney Briggs?
Here.
Judge Scagnelli? Judge Scagnelli? Judge Swinton? Judge Swinton?
He's here, but might be having audio trouble.
Executive Secretary Backus?
Here.
Deputy Town Attorney Kim?
Here.
PBA President Mara? Chief Lingenfelter?
I'm here.
Comptroller Alam?
She's here. I think you just have to click the red button where the microphone is to unmute yourself. Do you see the red button that looks like a microphone? It's circle with a slash through it. If you unclick it, it'll unmute yourself.
I see that she's here. And from the Comptroller's Office, Janet Nguyen?
Here.
Okay. We're going to table the minutes from last month for now till next month because I'm not in my office right now. And move on to operations. So I'm coordinating with Attorney Briggs and Kim, getting together the disciplinary records necessitated by the repeal of Civil Service Law 50A. And so lately, the town and all the local municipalities have been having a lot of car larcenies and larceny from vehicles and residential garages. So in the town, we've been hiring extra patrol and also with the county task force, we've been putting out extra patrol overnights and early mornings to try to limit the larcenies and hopefully produce apprehensions, to take care of this issue. We put out over this like last midweek and weekend, and we're going to do that in the future to try to take care of this issue. I know that, people are getting nervous, but we are asking people to make sure that you lock up your cars, garages, houses. Don't have, anything visible. Don't leave pocketbooks, laptops, anything of value in your cars. And, just lock up your belongings. with people being unemployed, out of work, there's people out there that are going to try to steal your things. So we're out there, we're being vigilant. But you do have to lock up your belongings, and if you see anything, call 911, call the dispatch UCC. But we are out there, extra patrol, and we're trying to take care of the problem. Regarding PPE and continued COVID-19 response, we do have a digital no-touch wall-mounted thermometer that was that Attorney Kim provided, and it's installed at police headquarters. I issued a special order for prescribed usage of that equipment, and for when the officers report for duty, everybody's in full compliance, and we haven't had any issues with that. And we currently have sufficient supply of PPE, including face masks, latex gloves, hand sanitizers, wipes, and disinfectant. We continue to adhere to CDC guidelines. And with the installation of the thermometer, we have resumed fingerprinting, child safety seats, and all motor vehicle lockout responses. We also are in receipt of the new radar signs. We received 4 of them. I'm working with Highway Supervisor Ray Smith for the purpose of getting the signs up and deployed. We received the new administrative car. It was sent over to Niskayuna Tire for the upfitting. And we are still waiting on 2 patrol vehicles from Ford. They're set to be delivered this month. And as soon as we get those will be immediately sent to Niskayuna Tire for the upfitting, and then they'll subsequently be placed into service. As far as building, the building lock system, that is will be set up by Highway. I don't know, Ray, if you want to speak to that. Ray? Is Ray on?
I can speak to it in that I think that it was approved and it was unintentionally left off the agenda last month. So I believe it was referred to Highway in July from this committee, and Highway approved one of the quotes, and that will be on resolution that Highway will be referring with also the recommendation of Police and Public Safety.
Okay. Okay, so as far as training, we have scheduled our fall range for the end of September and beginning of October. I've been in contact with Schenectady, and we're having a rather large-scale active shooter training, which is scheduled. It's going to include the fire departments, EMS, local police departments, scheduled right now for November 7th and 8th. We've committed to sending 3 instructors and multiple officers to the training. And the other thing is we are developing a departmental policy and procedures for deployment and use of recently purchased tasers, along with developing adequate training protocols.
So Chief, are we going to get some of our own officers to be trainers for the tasers?
So we have actually already sent 2 officers for that. So we have 2 trainers for that already.
Great, thank you.
And on to citizen issues. We may have 1 civilian on the call. Mr. Hess or AC Towing, are you on the call?
Chief Wall, can you hear me?
Yes.
So first, thank you for inviting me to the meeting. Previously, I had emailed Chief Wall and Councilman McPartland I represent AC's Towing. They're a towing service that currently provides police requested towing to Town of Guilderland, City of Schenectady, Town of Rotterdam. They also have a New York State Thruway contract. So my client would like to be considered for calls from the Town of Niskayuna Police Department when towing is needed. So I'm not sure exactly what the protocol for that is, whether there is currently or ever was an RFP for that service. But whatever the mechanism is for it, my client would like to be considered.
Okay, so I'm going to be working with the town attorneys and evaluating how and what we do to determine who's on our tow list, because I do think it needs to be reevaluated and like set up a policy or some way to determine who's on that list and how we go forward with that. So
Yeah, that's totally fair. We're not looking for, we just want consideration. That's all.
absolutely. So I will be back in contact with you once we have set up like a way to determine who goes on our list and what the like qualifications are for that.
Great. Thanks for considering this issue. That's really all we're here to ask for.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. So on with citizen issues. We have received numerous complaints about motorcycles racing and or speeding, motorcycles and or cars all times throughout the day and mainly at night and into the morning. We are aware of it. We do have cars out there, and we are trying to take care of the problem. The other road is Pierce Road. Again, we are trying to take care of that. We have conducted traffic speed surveys, deployed the speed radar trailer, and we have deployed our traffic enforcement unit. They have been assigned there to conduct traffic enforcement. Pierce Road is definitely an enforcement issue. We do definitely have a speed issue on Pierce Road. Another speeding complaint issue that complaint we have received is on Story Avenue between Balltown Road and Van Antwerp Road. There was also a complaint about street parking. That area of Story is a very short road. That is not a speed issue. There is a high traffic volume on that road. It is a cut through between Balltown Road to Union Street to Graham Boulevard. We do that turn there off of Balltown Road. It's a left turn off of Balltown Road onto Story Avenue. I don't have the accident data for that right now sitting in front of me, but we do get a lot of accidents as a result of a left-hand turn off Balltown Road onto Story Avenue. I have a couple thoughts in mind for that area, but I do have to do more study and thoughts for that as to suggestions for that road. But it is not a speed issue. It is heavily traveled road, but definitely not.
This information you're giving here, the total number of trips, 4,175. What was the time period on that?
So that time period, that was August 14th at 12 p.m. through August 17th at 2 p.m. And actually, Deputy Chief Stevens, can you speak to this a little bit better?
Yeah, Councilman McPartlin, we actually put that one up on a Friday afternoon, and I left it up all weekend as we were off. When I came in on Monday, took it down. I broke that one down, I believe I did, into 24-hour segments also, but the numbers here are that 4173 is actually like a 72-hour window. So that's not one day. I don't have those numbers in front of me right now. I don't know, Fran, if you do. But the 24-hour number that's a huge number. I knew that was going to kind of get people's attention. That's a 3-day number, not a 1 day.
Right, because usually you do a 24-hour number, so that's why I asked. But even at 3 days, that's a lot. I've lived in the town for a long time, and again, it's technology. I've never seen so many cars making that left from Balltown Road to Story. That's the way GPS takes people to get to Grand Boulevard rather than riding down Union Street and going on the Antwerp Road. It seems like Story Ave has now become the route.
And I know we've talked to this committee before, and the board has talked about it in other meetings. We keep seeing a common theme with any of the studies we do off of Balltown Road, that we have high volume. Regent Street, Clifton Park Road, they all have what we can all pretty much agree on is an elevated number of vehicles on the road. Kind of goes back to the whole idea that Balltown may not be working like it was meant to work 30 years ago, but that's a problem beyond my pay grade and bigger for me. So, but that is the common denominator we keep seeing is a high traffic volume on these roads off of Balltown.
I would assume that even during the school year that there would be even a greater volume per day, to cut through. So, I mean, I think if it is over 3 days, that's about 1,300 a day. So that's still considered high. Is a one-way street similar to the end of Hillside where it hits Van Rankin an option for here? And if so, would that have to be a change to the town code, correct?
Well, so one of the problems is we also have a one-way, or we have a no left turn. And if you made it a one-way street, then you had the neighbors getting in and out. There's a couple options I want to think about first. I want to play with a couple thoughts first before we put out any suggestions for that.
Right, and if we decided to make it like a no left turn onto Story from Balltown like it is on Van Antwerp, I don't know if we'd have to get involved, ask the state about that and
Right.
sort of look into that.
Right. And then the other thought is then you're just going to push it off onto other neighborhood streets as well. And then we'll get complaints from those other neighboring streets. So you're just pushing that off on other neighborhood streets as well.
True. It's going to go to Ray Street rather than, Story.
Correct.
Or up Balltown further.
Barcelona correct.
Yep.
Okay, so we have also received traffic complaints on Wyoming, which, obviously we assigned a traffic enforcement unit. Deputy Chief Stevens, I'm going to let you speak to this because this road has been addressed, I believe, in October or November.
Sorry, I was turning my mic back on here. Again, I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but I know I personally have done 3 traffic studies on Wyoming over the last, I want to say 4 or 5 years. Each one comes back showing that we don't have a speed issue, that the average speed is actually below the speed limit, which is a good sign. But again, we are seeing a high traffic volume on that road. I believe the one study, at least one of the studies, came up with a number of close to 600 cars in a 24-hour period. That seems like a lot of traffic on a road that size. And I know the complaints from over there are about traffic volume. And that's another one where I don't really know what the town could possibly do for that. I mean, you look at making that a one-way, maybe to McClellan or something like that, but same issue arises, what we just talked about on Story. It's not going to change the volume of traffic that's attempting to go down that road. It's just going to push it to other roads. So, but all the 3 studies have never shown a speed problem over there. We did send the TEU over there maybe a month and a half ago for an hour a shift. And I believe they wrote 3 or 4 summons I don't believe they were speed. I think there were other things that they were stopping. They may have issued at least one speed, but again, without that data in front of me, I cannot confirm that or negate it. So this is another road, but we seem to be having a traffic volume issue, and I don't know how the town's going to handle that. I don't even have any good suggestions, to be honest with you. So
Okay, I'm going to pop back. We also received speed complaints on Graham Boulevard, in particular Graham Boulevard at Dean Street. Graham Boulevard, we definitely do have an enforcement issue. We have a speed issue. I can recall one of our officers stopped a vehicle going 61 miles per hour on Graham Boulevard. So we definitely do have a speed issue on Graham Boulevard. We are aware of it. Our traffic enforcement unit has been assigned there. We are definitely putting cars out there to try to tackle this situation. Mike, I'm sorry, Deputy Chief Stevens, you have the speed counter right now, one of them, or did you pull it back in?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What was that, friend?
You have the traffic speed counter out there now?
No, I'm done on Grand. I did both east and west on Grand Boulevard. It is back out at McGovern, Councilman McPartlin. I know you talked about you wanted to get McGovern done again. Put it out there for the weekend. So we'll have to get that back in here at some point and get the data off of that.
Good, thank you. Yeah, because one of the next ones is Hilltop, same area of town. But Hilltop didn't, the residents that called about that, really, it was more regarding looking into some additional signage on Hilltop. So we should probably talk to Ray, take a look at if we can't get some additional signage out there. It was sort of one incident that a resident brought to my attention. And the resident actually said, the parent was as much at fault at taking her kids out in their bicycles in the middle of the road. And the parent was right there with them, and a car came around the curve. So, the roads are for cars and pedestrians and bikes, but you don't want to be in the middle of the road, especially when you can't be seen. So we should, though, look at some signage there.
And not to cut you
Sorry
off.
about that, Chief. Just jumped ahead a little on you there. Just
No, that was,
the same neighborhood.
And with regards to Hilltop, I believe we can check with Superintendent Smith, but I want to say 3 or 4 years ago, they went over and cut back some of the trees on Hilltop near.
You're absolutely right. He did on our request from our committee because for line of sight and stuff like that. And they did do an excellent job increasing the line of sight around the curve by cutting down trees and trimming limbs that are in the town right away. So that's helped a lot. It really has.
okay. And we had one more traffic complaint, which was on Valencia Road. We found low volume of vehicles on that road, low volume of speed, so there's actually no issue on Valencia Road at all. So then moving on to community events.
Hey, Chief Wall.
Yes.
Just going back to Wyoming, I know part of that complaint was something about volleyball occurring at Baker Park and parking on Wyoming. And I just wanted to address that. I know that the town, we don't do license agreements for that Baker Street Park. So any volleyball events that are occurring there are not are not because the town isn't, have an agreement or any sort or any involvement in any type of way. So I don't know if you guys looked into the street parking, but I just wanted to address that aspect of the citizen complaint.
Okay, so I wasn't made aware of that until just this weekend, so I'll have my officers look out for it. But like you said, there's
nothing we can do because the Baker Street Park, as I understand it, we're not renting it out, so any volleyball happening there is allowable.
correct. Are you done as far as that?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to mention that so whoever was listening didn't think we missed that part.
Okay, so moving on to community events, we did have a march protest on August 10th. It was originally scheduled for August 7th and got postponed. It created a slight traffic disruption. We haven't been made aware of any future protest or marches. Move on to the farmers market. We had a coffee with a cop a couple weeks ago at the farmers market. Produced really good results, and we had positive interaction with the public. And the visiting traffic and parking has not been an issue during the farmers market. Anyone else have anything else about the farmers market? And we'll move on to town clerk. I know she wanted to bring some things up.
I just wanted to, thank you for letting me speak. I just wanted to keep in mind the contract for the APF that's still in the works. And I'm not sure exactly when we'll be able to present something. But Alexis and Paul, I believe Paul Briggs is working on that. And also, we were talking about the end cap signs that were being made for the parks. And I was wondering if one was considered for the dog park. I hadn't heard anything about that, and if one could be made for that park also.
I don't see any reason why one could not be placed there. Getting quite a few signs from them, so.
Yeah, I didn't know how many we were going to be able to have.
I think that they said 25 and they're going to be donated to the town. So I don't know, we'll be able to make the decision once they become our property, but I don't see why not. I believe that we can come through this committee and perhaps Highway, Parks and Rec regarding recommendations and where they should be installed. But I think that's not for a couple of weeks out from now.
And Michelle, we're getting plenty of signs from them, but we're also getting additional signs if we want them or need them from the anti-tobacco group that I've been working with on the vaping. And we're also looking at adding additional locations besides the dog park and other places like that around town for these issues. So that's a good point. Thanks, Michelle.
All right, great. Thank you. And that's all I had.
So fire department. Oh, I'm sorry, courts. I'm sorry, Judge Swinton.
Don't skip over to the court. We
Well-
got Judge Swinton here.
Can you hear me though?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. I straightened out my mic issue. We have reopened. We're about to have what I think it's our 5th session since reopening. We are still mandated to be 25% of occupancy by OCA. So we have spread out our criminal sessions on Wednesdays. We're no longer having pretrial conferences for vehicle and traffic matters. That was actually the DA's decision. So that's all being done by mail. So that let us spread out the criminal cases. We haven't yet hit what we think is going to be a mountain of civil cases, specifically summary proceedings, evictions, because the state is still postponing enforcement of summary proceedings. But once those come, our plan is to move those on to Thursday night, where we've moved all of the other civil matters. So we'll have 2 court sessions a week, Wednesday for criminal, Thursday for civil. But otherwise, things have gone pretty well. Haven't really had any mask enforcement issues or anything like that in the court. And hopefully we're back to whatever the new normal is soon.
Thank you, Judge. So you've been doing okay as far as capacity wise, and things have been working out.
Yeah, our biggest problem in terms of capacity is, like I said, OCA's got us at 25% of our normal occupancy, but that has to include the judges, the clerks, the attorneys, and the court officers. So really the hit goes on the number of people, defendants appearing that we can have in the courtroom at any given time. So we've knocked that down. We have, I think we've got a total of 20 chairs now in the public portion of the courtroom, but we've got those in groups of 2 because some people come with parents, some people come with, other family members and such. So we really only have like 8 to 10 defendants on for each session, but we put in 3 sessions. So we do a 3:30, a 5, and a 6:30, so that we can still get 30-ish defendants on in a night, because otherwise the backlog we're not going to make it through it. But it's going okay.
At one point you thought you might even need another night, or you're just extending the hours for the nights that you have?
Well, we do have another night. We've moved all of our civil stuff over to Thursday. Ideally, we would have just extended the nights or moved some of the criminal stuff onto a second night. Our problem with moving any of the criminal stuff is we need the public defender and the DA, and every other court in the county has the same problem we've got. So we really only get the public defender and the DA for Wednesdays. So to alleviate that, we moved all of the civil stuff that we used to do on Wednesdays mixed in with the criminal stuff. We moved all that over onto a Thursday night so that Wednesdays is just criminal. And if we have to add an 8 o'clock session at the end, that's our plan.
So you're not anticipating a third night then?
No, I don't think we'll need a third night. When we get the wave of summary proceedings, the evictions, those we may end up doing daytime sessions depending on how many we get, because we're also trying to, in order to limit the number of people in the courtroom, we're trying to do these in blocks so that, for example, a particular apartment complex that might have multiple evictions on, we're going to put all of those on for one session, because then we generally will only have one attorney for the landlord, and it's just more efficient to get through them that way. But like I said, that hasn't happened yet because we still have a moratorium on the evictions.
Great, thank you.
Okay, Fire Department, Chief Lingenfelter.
Hi, good morning. Got a couple things going on. We're entering into our busy season here for fire prevention. The gas tank down at River Road, the town gas tank, has been put in place, and it looks like the crews are in the process of getting it fitted up with the pump and everything. And I just wanted to commend the town crews. They did a great job down there avoiding, there's a lot of underground infrastructure around where they were working. And they took great pains to make sure they didn't hit it, which obviously we appreciate. We're working with Fire District 2 and Rexford Fire District on adjusting our annual fire prevention programs that we do in the school. We're pretty sure they're not going to be able to do assemblies and that type of thing. So we're working on a couple of safety videos that we could roll out over YouTube, something like that. And also some activities that the students can actually take home and submit to us and turn in for little prizes and such. Some other things we're working on rolling out a home safety survey program. It's kind of like a home safety inspection, absolutely voluntary. It's just we would send a couple firefighters in to look at somebody's house for safety issues, fire safety issues, and make recommendations for those. And also kind of along with that, and we've been doing this for a while, we also install smoke detectors for people who need the help, either just installing ones they've purchased, or we have some available that we can give to residents, though the numbers are kind of limited, but we do have some. We got an award, $16,000 from the Assistance to Firefighter Grant Program to help offset some of the COVID-related expenses, which was nice to have. It kind of brought our budget back into balance for medical supplies for the year. And we also have 3 of our staff assisting with instruction at the active shooter training in November down in the city. We'll have a crew participating with that as well. I think that's the most of it.
Yeah, with regards to Chief Lingenfelter, I had sent you, I know the proposed town reminder email blast regarding the town code provisions regarding recreational fires. I'm not sure, I didn't hear back from the chief of New York, Niskana Fire District 2 or Stanford Heights Fire District.
Okay.
I don't know if I should interpret their silence as, you know, that they don't have any corrections. I believe we were just looking for a phone number perhaps for the best contact, you know, point of contact at Fire District 2 and Stanford Heights for people who have questions.
Okay, did I just send you their emails?
Yeah. If you don't mind sending me their emails, I will send that out because I know, you know, various town board members have been receiving complaints about people having fires that are causing perhaps a nuisance to their neighbors, which is prohibited by our town
Right.
code.
Right.
And
Yeah, I
then
can forward that.
Oh, and then just as a follow-up, I know that you mentioned the smoke detectors being available. As you know, we issue notice of violations. When I say we, I mean, you know, our two town code enforcement officers. We can't leave the premises until either the property installs the smoke alarm. Are you aware of that? I know maybe Laura Robertson has brought that up with you because I know one of the issues also was with CO2 monitors, and we were looking. Do you guys have CO2 monitors available for donation?
Yeah, we've got a couple different varieties of alarms. Some of them are strictly smoke alarms. Some are CO alarms or combinations thereof. It's a limited number. We tend to use them if we're on an incident and we notice that they don't have a working detector. We'll install one for them, you know, obviously with their permission. And they were kind of earmarked for folks that might have you know, fiscal constraints, couldn't afford them, or just the elderly who can't put them up themselves. I wouldn't say if we were looking at an apartment complex or something like that, my expectation would be the complex would be able to provide the detector and put it up. We were looking at this as more of a home residential type service.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. That's all I have, Chief.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Before moving on, Comptroller Alam has figured out her mic and she's going to introduce herself real quick.
Good morning. How's everybody?
We're good. Good. Welcome, Ms. Mott.
Thank
Good
you so
morning.
much. Really looking forward to working with all of you. Sorry, I was looking at my other microphone on the left-hand side, not the right-hand side. It's all confusing. It's too early in the morning. So I'm fine after a cup of coffee. Thank you, Chief, for letting me introduce.
You're welcome. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Okay, school district. Anybody have anything for school district? No? Anything else? Anyone have anything else for the meeting?
I wanted to confirm no resolution. Oh, sorry, I'm getting Taylor her breakfast. No resolutions for this month on September 22nd or the agenda meeting. Besides, perhaps I'll see if NCAP is signs already. Maybe a ceremonial resolution thanking them for the signs. But otherwise, just wanted to confirm no reses.
No.
Thank you.
Okay, we can have an emotion to adjourn our regular meeting. I see executive session down here. Is that something we need today, Chief?
I don't think so unless, yes?
I think I received, pursuant just to discuss a collective
Yes,
bargaining agreement negotiations. We can hold off if you would like, but I did receive an update from
We'd
the
have to
PBA
get Bill
attorney.
Lawrence to send us another link for that.
Oh, perhaps we can do it for Finance and General Government Committee if that's easier.
It's really up to you. We can set up another meeting, or I can just stop the recording and the live stream and have everybody log off, and you can continue your meeting in private if you prefer that. It's up to you.
What do you need, Alexis? Do you want
We
to
could
do
do
it
a
now?
Finance and General Government Committee if that's easier. I mean, whatever is your preference.
Either one, that's fine with me. We only have 3 board
Do it during
members,
finance. You'll have
myself,
everybody else there,
Yeah.
Alexis.
right, we
And
can
it'll be
have
easier.
Okay.
And Bill will have
So we can
notice
wait till
and
next
he
week.
can get in and out.
So motion to adjourn?
Yes. Our
Second.
next meeting is gonna be August 6th, or I'm sorry, October 6th. October 6th is the next scheduled meeting at 8 AM. It's on the calendar and has been, so the original scheduled date is October 6th for the next meeting. Okay, no objections to an adjournment? We're adjourned.
Right.
Thank
Have
you,
a good day.
everyone.